going live? Are we going to make it? I think we're live. Who knows? This is kind of one of those days. I've been preparing actually quite a bit today, but as usual, it's amateur hour on Tuesday night again.
Well, what would an amateur hour Tuesday night Bossier Watch show be if it were not us doing the amateur stuff?
Yes, very much so. So let me make sure we're live. We've got about 9 people watching. It shows that we're on all of the platforms. So let's just do our usual
Well, we
double
are live
check.
on Facebook. I see us definitely. As for Twitter, I don't
Mm-hmm.
know. I
I
don't know. Look,
just got a YouTube notification, so we're live there. Yeah. Okay. All right.
okay, so we've got like 15 or 20 people done poured in the comment. I mean, in the thing there. Where are y'all watching from? Y'all in the comments, type up real quick. Tell us, are you on YouTube? Are you on Facebook? Are you on Twitter?
Yeah. Where are
Curious.
you? Where are you coming from? Let us know. That's a good idea, Mr. Lowry. So I guess shall we disappoint everybody right off the bat, or shall we wait till after
No,
the
no,
break, or what?
no. Some people say that that's one of the things they, meaning you and I, do to get people to watch the show. And I'm not going to say that we haven't done something nefarious like that in the past. We may
Clickbaitish?
have just a
Yeah.
little, but it's never been intentional. No.
Oh, okay. Well, we'll save that for I guess when we come back. Let me see. Let me make sure I've got my network optimized and all that kind of good stuff. I guess it's good enough. Anyway,
So
so
I haven't watched any social media today. I haven't been up to speed on anything. I mean, who got offended today, and who's all mad, and what's the latest?
well, I've been playing keyboard warrior off and on yesterday and today. I drove up to your neck of the woods up there yesterday evening. I skipped the PEC meeting. Shame on me. And drove up to Benton. I made the decision to go to the Benton Town Council meeting, and we've been asked on in the comments. So Andy Modica asked, "Who invited me up there?" Nobody invited me up there. At the request of many people, we have provided some insight and some advice on different governmental type things. But I decided to go up there yesterday and just try out the big camera. I hadn't been up to the Benton Town Council meeting in what 2 or 3 years, something like that. I can't remember.
Well, I hear the mayor called you out.
Oh, he greeted me. I made about 3 steps in the door, and he greeted me. Hey, Rex, you hadn't been up here in a while. No, it's just in the neighborhood. Thought I'd swing by and see what was up, and toting my camera bag in there.
Yeah, that wasn't the greeting I was talking about. I was talking about the one on record. But no, that's nice. He greeted you at the door and said hi.
It's better than flipping me off when I first walked in. He was cordial. I'll give him that.
Yeah, I mean, look, we're just trying to help. That's all.
Yeah, we're just trying to shed a little light. I mean, look, it's like we tell all the government officials, don't do any dumb stuff, and we won't have anything to talk about. We could actually, I think I put a comment up, we could actually have normal lives on a Tuesday night, but oh no.
It could be fishing and hunting. We could be talking about
Yes,
fishing and hunting on Tuesday nights.
that's right. It's starting. Let's see, it's no, it's dove season started. It was opening
Duck.
weekend of dove season.
Yep. Got a
Teal
week till
seasons.
a week away. A week away. Got a
Okay,
week till there. Yeah, and
I knew
October
that.
1st, those little rats
Squirrel
running around in the
season.
trees.
Yeah, I love the squirrel hunt. That's, as a matter of fact, that's probably one of my favorite things to do. Just brings back good childhood memories.
Yeah, you better believe it. I would much rather be reminiscing, telling stories about that kind of stuff than talking about stupid politics and stupid local governments doing stupid stuff.
Yes.
But if they choose
Here
to
we
do
are.
stupid stuff, here we are. We got to talk about it because we said that was what we were going to do.
Yeah.
It's
All
not. It's not
right.
personal.
Yeah,
It's
it's
not per.
nothing personal towards most of the people. There are a few people it's kind of sort of personal with me, but still, it's It's political stuff. Come on. We don't ever attack anybody personally. It's always the stuff that they do or the things that they say. And we just use their, look, it's an inside secret, and it's not really a secret. We just use their own words and actions and reflect it back. And
Yeah.
everybody else thinks they're stupid.
Ann says, love to eat squirrels. Hey,
Absolutely.
you got to get some Missouri potted squirrel meat. It is off the
Uh,
chain. I'm going to tell you.
yeah, I like some
It,
squirrel
it,
mulligan.
it's like spam, but a little wilder.
Yeah, I like Cindy's comment. She says, she says YouTube to listen, Facebook to read the comments. Tonight, Cindy, you will get to read comments about squirrels killing God's little creatures. I don't say the whole harvest thing. I'm going to kill some squirrels, kill ducks, kill deer. Now, I generally don't kill too many fish because I'm too lazy to clean them. That's why I bass fish, because catch and release is a wonderful thing. I don't have to clean the sun guns. But that's a whole other conversation.
Well, anyway, so what are we going to do? We're going to get straight off into it. We're going to do the break thing. We're going to come back. What are we talking about tonight? I mean, I
Uh,
see you you worked and created some notes and put some things together. You know, we got a couple of messages wanting to know what the hell's going on in Bossier City with this building. Supposedly they're going to spend all this money buying all this daggum building down there off of Benton Road.
yeah, and it
Millions?
kind of was
How
off of
many?
my radar.
How many millions?
I don't know, lots of millions. I don't even know. If it's Bossier City, it's lots of millions.
Yeah, I mean Bossier's lots of millions, and you were asking me about it, and I was like, I remember something about that. It did. I said, look, I say, hold up, let me make a phone call, and I'll get back to you on it. So we're
Yeah.
going to talk about that. Um,
Okay.
I think Viva Voce, that's on the agenda. I mean,
Yes. Again, we did a whole show on that, but we're going
yeah,
to
it's
talk about it again.
big hot topic in Shreveport and Caddo Parish over there. Definitely.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, you know how the Attorney General Liz Murrill is. If you're a Democrat and you're not in Bossier Parish, she'll do something about it. But if you're a Republican and you're in Bossier Parish, she just ignores it.
I mean, I'm wondering. I mean, if I'm over there from Caddo, I'm saying to myself, why didn't she just reach out and tell us to just have the meeting again and redo the vote in person?
Yeah, I mean, let's see, what meeting was that? Oh, yeah, the Charter Commission meeting. They had to redo one of those because of potential open meetings violations. I mean, there is precedent for. They weren't forced to redo it. I think they were just smart. Richard Gray was trying to cover his little Weasley rear end, and they did the whole redo meeting.
Oh yeah, but the interesting thing is if nobody would have ever said anything, I mean, they would have just
They just kept going. You
yeah,
know,
just kept right on going.
I don't know what it is with these politicians. I mean, even up in Benton, we'll see here in just a little bit. Well, that's a whole other clown show going on up there. Sorta. We'll talk about it because we got a bunch of meetings. I say we skip the countdown because we've rambled on here about 9 or 10 minutes. I say we just do the quick intro, come right back into it. We'll be back in 30 seconds and let's get into the show. How about that, Mr. Lowry?
Oh yeah, 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 yeah. And we're going to talk about Ryan Gaddy when we get to the Benton stuff too.
Oh,
Yes,
is he one of the
right.
Benton Bullies? Hmm.
Aren't we going to talk about Ryan Gaddy?
I'm sure we'll mention it somewhere because we have to
Or
mention a cease and desist letter, and that's going to throw the dander up of certain friends of ours. But anyway,
somebody says I need a better hat.
let's see.
Well,
Now,
if I'm not gonna bite. See there, people baiting me already. I'm
let's
not
see
gonna
if I
bite.
can hold on. I might can change the fade up your Casper. See you later, Duke. Oh, let's do that right there. That makes your hat look a little better.
I
What
I can
is
change. I can change hats. What does he want me to do to put a Parkway hat on? Is that what I got to do? Put a Panther hat on?
Wait, wouldn't that be like disloyal to your Houghton roots?
Well, it would be, but I got to tell you, I'm not going to put no. Well, see, I'm not going to get fall into that trap. I mean, he can wear
Uh,
that Parkway hat. I'll
uh,
leave it there. I'm gonna leave it alone. I'm gonna shut
uh,
up. Digging a
look,
hole. Digging a
we we
hole.
we like our Sobo fans, and hope that they kind of at least like us a little bit. All right, let's. I'm gonna hit the little intro ads. We'll be back in 30 seconds, and we will dive right into whatever we're gonna talk about. Here we go. This livecast is brought to you by the Outdoor News, fishing and outdoors for our area. Acadiana Mortgage, over 25 years in the mortgage business. Pelican Training and Consulting. Reach out to Julie Ferris. Smarter Geek, making technology easier. And folks sharing information and watching out. Now, grab your popcorn and a drink. Here we go.
Yep. Yep.
You better hurry. Gotta
Okay.
be gotta be faster than that, Mr.
So
Lauer.
if you wanted me to change hats, so here we go. I'm gonna put on my tinfoil hat. There. How's
Oh,
that?
so why do you have your tinfoil hat on tonight? I mean, are we going to get into conspiracy stuff or are we actually
Well, well,
real stuff?
you remember back in the early days, somebody brought up to me earlier this week about some of the things that we covered in the early days of Bossier Watch.
Right, right.
And remember, we had a thing called Cockroach of the Week. Remember that? That was pretty
Yeah, I
cool.
remember that, and we need to get back to doing that.
We do. I mean, there has been so many people who have been worthy of being the Cockroach of the Week. And,
Right.
back then, a lot of people, and part of the Cockroach of the Week thing was, I'm trying to recollect now. What was it? Somebody made this statement about the things that we were saying, and it was somewhat suggesting that we were conspiracy theorists and, putting out a lot of fake stuff. But as it would turn out, I think after all of these years, I mean, a lot of what we have said has come to fruition. It's true.
Well, look, our whole premise from pretty much day one has been to point out the good old boy stuff, the stuff that gets, that goes on in Bossier that everybody knows that goes on, but, kind of gets swept, I don't know, under the rug or off to the side or kind of ignored, and to give the inside baseball to that. And we are biased. We proudly inject our bias, and usually you and I agree there are some things that we don't agree 100% on, but we inject our bias. And when we have guests on, like, I invited both James Friday, the mayor of the big town of Benton, and Stephanie Collier. She is I think her official title is the clerk. I invited them both on in case they wanted to come on and, had any of the things at some of these meetings that they wanted to address. It's still an open invitation, even if they want to pre record that. And we'll show it maybe next weekend. And look, like we always say, that invitation is open to any politician or political candidate. So it's hard for us to, or for you to leave that tinfoil hat on or aluminum foil hat on too long because a lot of what we say and do is based on stuff that's been sent to us that we kind of go through and make sure there's an element of truth, or just stuff that politicians say and do with our bias and our opinion on it.
Yeah. So in addition to all of that, I wanted to take a step back and we started talking about Parkway and we mentioned Halton and I may have said Benton, I may not have said Benton. Hey, I'm just wondering, has any of y'all followed any of this bullying stuff? The latest iteration of bullying within the school system? Did you hear anything?
Well, I've seen some of it on my Facebook feed and social media and all that, but I haven't dug into it. Now, I know we talked about bullying before here, and it seems like Benton was brought up before. I mean, I'd have to go back and double check. But this is not the first time we've done it. What's going on now?
Hatopia tonight. I like it. Yeah. Well, allegedly, no, I shouldn't say allegedly because I don't. It's not allegedly, but there has been apparently another bullying incident in the town of Benton, or not
You
the
don't
town of Benton,
say.
but Benton High School, or up there. And
Well, all right, but let me interject something for a second and then we'll proceed on. So, I don't want to sound crass about this, but another incident, it's a fact of life. Bullying goes on at literally every school everywhere. Now, I don't know what seems to be the issue with Benton, but I mean, it's not like it's a, oh my goodness, somebody got bullied. It's like, hate to say it, I've talked about it before, it's part of growing up. But continue on. So what's the deal?
well, no doubt it. But why is it always? It seems like it's always Benton that there's this bullying thing. I mean, I too frequently and too often we keep hearing Benton and bullying. I don't know. It just seems like for some reason it's always been. But with that said, there's another instance of bullying, and as I appreciate it, uh, boy, my all of a sudden my my messages are starting to uh,
Uh oh.
glow. Uh,
Uh oh.
so as I appreciate it, this incident of bullying happened, and um, the parent of this person apparently went to the school board or the school system and said, "Hey, let's do something about it." And as I appreciate it, it may be wrong. I don't know all of the facts, but as I appreciate it, pretty much it's the song and dance as I understand how things go is they meet just to gather information. And I'm going to say it the way I think that this is the way it is they gather information of just how best to defend themselves, the school or the school system. It's not about trying to stop or prevent or but it's about protecting the institution and protecting themselves. So eh,
So
that,
is your premise? So let's go down this rabbit hole just a little bit. Your premise is not necessarily that the school board actively promotes bullying. Surely, I mean, they don't do that. But your premise is that, hey, when these issues arise and are brought to their attention, their first thing is to go into defensive action mode. Is that?
well, it's the first response from the system or government. I'm not going to say teachers, I'm not going to say school board, I'm not going to say administration. I'm going to say the first response of government upon any allegation coming is to gather evidence, not give up any evidence to protect themselves, right? To protect the institution or to protect themselves. It That's what the appearance to me seems to be. So if you had a kid and you came to me, and this is my opinion based off what I'm seeing and hearing, if you had a kid that had this instance and you came to me and you asked my opinion, I would tell you, hell no, don't go talk to the school. You need to go talk to a lawyer first
Well,
because
all right.
I,
Let,
I'm
let-
not I'm not of the opinion you're going to get the right advice from the school system reporting to them anything.
all right. But
It's
but
like they're working against you.
I would be remiss if I didn't get on my soapbox about this again. So I'm gonna
Okay,
back
go
up in
ahead.
time. And I've told, I think, this story before, or some version of it
We've had
before
this
when we
same
just,
debate and
yeah,
dialogue
heck, we talked
multiple
about Cedar
times.
Creek. Yeah, Cedar Creek over in Ruston and
Yeah.
all that ordeal. And so I'll keep it very brief. But look, you know, I was a little bitty smart kid. I mean, I'm not very big now, and I was especially small when I was a kid. I was a smart kid, carried lots of books, advanced classes, all that kind of good stuff. So I lived part of my childhood in Monroe, Haynesville, and then the rest of it in Ruston. When I was in Monroe, I went to Lee Junior High School. I was definitely a minority at Lee Junior High School, although, look, it was a great school, had some great teachers, and all that. And I used to get I hate to say it, but plug your ears, everybody. I used to get my ass whipped on a regular basis because I'd be toting all these books going from class to class. And there was one particular kid. I was toting my, these heavy English lit books and geometry books and all this. And he knocked them out of my hand one day and I just snapped. I had enough. And I took my English literature book and I proceeded to beat the hell out of him. And of course, assistant principal, coaches ran out there. We go down to the assistant principal's office. Coach Pruitt was his name. He said, "You boys have two choices. Either A, I call your parents and you go home, or B, you get licks." I said, no, I'm taking the licks. You ain't calling my mom and dad. I'm a straight A student and I am not going home and having to tell them I got suspended from school. That would be a deal breaker for me. And so we proceeded to, I forget what he gave us, I think 5 licks each with a wooden paddle, the whole 9 yards. The point of it is, after that, me and that kid became the best of friends. And I never got messed with again. And literally became friends with his friends. I learned to break dance, all sorts of things. Now, my point is not that every kid is capable of defending themselves and all that sort of thing. And I'm not advocating for violence all the time, but I'll share this again, and I'm probably going to piss some people off in the comments, but oh well. Here's what I taught my 3 boys growing up. You better not ever start a fight picking on somebody, all right? Because then you'll have to deal with me. However, if somebody's picking on you, you damn sure better defend yourself. Or if somebody's getting bullied or picked on and they're not able to defend themselves, you better jump in and I'll have your back every time. School be damned. And there were a couple of instances at Waller Elementary where that specific thing happened. Now, again, I don't know all the particulars of this case, and each case is different, and I get it, and kids are different, and blah, blah, blah. But I'm just saying something has changed drastically in the way that we are schooling and disciplining or lack thereof kids. I don't know what it is, but I, I don't remember. I don't remember the cops ever. I think the cops were called one time at Ruston High. And that was because something that one of the students had done outside the school. And they came and arrested the kid at school.
Yeah, I totally agree. It's different nowadays, and I think part of the problem is society. And again, I feel like, I mean, how many times have we had this? I feel like I'm saying
Yeah.
the same freaking things I've said on countless shows, and that is the problem. We're still talking about this crap. Something has to change. And but it's our society and the litigiousness of our society. What if, and I'm going to say this because when I was in school, I'm like you, I got into those fist fights. There's a couple of times I got my butt whooped, but there's a couple of
Right.
times I sure enough whooped some butt. Did I
Right.
ever go picking on people? No, I never did that. Was I picked on? Yeah. Did I draw blood because some people did that and they underestimated me because I was a short kid, 150 pounds, and they underestimated you? Daggone right, I drew some blood. But what I can tell you is back then, some of and I ain't gonna say no names, but some of the teachers, if there was a couple of kids that there was some issue, I mean, I know there were some times that you went out behind the building and the teacher said, you know what, y'all resolve it,
Slug it out. Slug it
get
out.
after it, and you got it settled. If it was a dispute, 9 times out of 10, the weaker kid, in my opinion, usually prevailed because I feel like they were more scared than the aggressive kid. And so therefore they fought harder and made a point. And I'm not advocating that that's what we need to do, but I'm just saying what we are doing is not working. And that's totally not where I was wanting to go with all this, because there is
Right.
a point to this whole story that makes this most recent, again, case that we're talking about unique. But I don't believe, and I'm not saying that the system government is wrong because they're trying to protect themselves and protect the institution and keep from getting sued and all that. I mean, I get that. That's what they're trying to do. But and I get that government has tied government's hands in having alternative ways of dealing with things. I get that as well too. And but here's what's different. I think that in this case, the parent of the child who is being bullied recognized that the system, government, wasn't going to do anything and were only doing the minimum what they had to do to protect themselves. Meaning, you know, talk to the parent whose kid's being bullied, get what information and statements you can out of them to be able to use against them if by chance it went to court.
Mm. Mm.
So so as I appreciate it, what did this parent of this bullied person do? They reached out to the parent of the child that was doing the bullying. And as I appreciate it, the parent of the child that was doing the bullying basically just kind of was like, eh, whatever, and blew it
Hmm.
off. So,
Hmm.
but here's the, and that may have happened before, but
Right.
here's the twist. Here's the twist. And this is a societal question that now we're looking at. And and I can't say the parent of the bullied person is wrong because this is what we do right here on this show. And so I guess you could say in some senses it's a judgment of what we are doing as well too. But what did she do? Or what did some people do? Maybe I shouldn't say that it's her because I don't know that it was her. But uh, there was a post on the City of Bossier parody page
Mm-hmm.
that called out the parent of the bullier for blowing it off and not acknowledging it and blew it up. And a lot of people started calling the parent whose name out on social media and there's a lot of people talking about it.
Well,
So
and look,
is it right to put it if you're not going to if government's not going to take care of it, put it out
well,
there in the world for everybody to know?
so let me kind of go around some of these corners here, and let me give some interesting things. Um, First of all, I want to acknowledge Christopher Davis's comment. He says, "I can say this: I've taught my son to do that very thing, talking about like you and I did. Once your kid fights back to defend themselves, then all involved are in trouble. Facts. I would agree, but I will say the exception to that rule is, Chris. Let me give you a real world exception. From Waller Elementary School, my boys and their friends were standing in, I think, the lunch line or whatever. This one kid kept messing with Michael, one of my twin boys. Michael told him, leave me alone. And I'd always told him, you give him one warning, try to stay out of it. But if it comes down to it, do not back down. And so Michael gave this other kid who was about 3 times his size the warning, said, no, leave me alone. And the kid shoved him again. And by the time the melee was through, Michael, this big old kid was on top of Michael. Jeremy, his twin brother, jumped in on it. Ryan and Zach, their friends. I mean, there were like 6, 7 kids involved in all this. Anyway, the point is, they went down to the principal's office. Principal calls my wife. She calls me because they always try to have the guidance counselor and the legal counselor and the principal and the assistant principal and all these meetings to intimidate the moms. I walked in. I said, Michael, tell me the version of the story that happened. He told me what happened. I said, okay. I said, you're the teacher on duty? Yes. Well, what happened? Her version was almost verbatim from what she saw that Michael said. I said, end of discussion. I said, we got a choice here. Y'all are either going to suspend my son or do whatever you're going to do, or he's going back to class and we're walking out here. Y'all's choice. And if y'all suspend him for defending himself, I will go pay for the billboard to put all your faces all across the billboards across Bossier and Shreveport. He went back to class.
Right.
Now,
So is it the appropriate thing if the parent of somebody who is doing bullying, I mean, it's their kid, are they somewhat not responsible?
well,
Okay,
that
inside Bitcoin, I mean, look,
let me ban inside Bitcoin. Hold on. I mean,
some
I'm all
some
about
people,
Bitcoin, but not trolls. All right,
I don't,
so
yeah, I'm out on Bitcoin,
yeah,
XRP, baby.
yeah. All right,
But
so here's the deal. but let me address that because that's where I was kind of headed with this. So here's the thing, I taught my kids don't bully, blah 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 blah, as I'm sure most parents do. And I'm quite sure there are kids that if I told their parents when we grew up how their kids acted towards me and other kids at school, they would be shocked to know it. Because kids can act one way at home and be completely different when they're at school. So I'm not always saying that we blame the parents. I would say if the parents are made aware of the actions that are going on and they don't take appropriate action to discipline their kids and stop the bad behavior, well, the parents need to be called out too.
I agree they need to be called out. I mean, look, as a parent, it's your responsibility to teach your offspring, you know, morality, ethics, to make them God fearing kids, and teach them to respect people, and respect people as you would have people respect you. And if a parent fails to do that, I mean, that's on them. And should they be called out in a public way to the parent whose kid's getting bullied? I mean, I think it's a fair thing to put it out on social media. Let's face it, social media is the new way of getting attention to subjects or issues that otherwise wouldn't get any notice whatsoever. So I got no problem with it.
Well,
And
look, we live in the information age. Look, I've preached this before. I'll try to keep it brief. I mean, I run an iPhone. I like my iPhone, but it's not that I'm married to this phone. I can go buy another one if I need to. All right, it's not this phone. I'm getting dinged too. Um, but it's the ability of being able to transmit information to anybody. Everybody has a platform now. You and I have a platform every Tuesday night or whatever night we want to do it. We encourage everybody in the audience or anybody watching. Look, we encourage the politicians. If y'all don't like what we're saying, get your own show. Well, I mean, it's literally, it doesn't cost anything other than your cellular phone and internet access. So we live in the information age, and I would say doing the digital torches and pitchforks unnecessarily or trying to dox somebody is not cool. But if as we've read or understand is true that the parent did go to this other parent to make them aware, the parent blew them off or whatever, or didn't care or whatever the deal is, call them out. There's TikTok, there's Facebook, there's YouTube, there's, I don't know, Snapchat, I don't know, whatever else. Pick your platform. Go to True
yeah,
Social. I don't know.
yeah. So look, there's about 90 of y'all watching. I mean, what do y'all think? Do y'all think, if the parent blew it off, should they be blasted on social media? Is that an appropriate tool to draw attention to a subject like this? I mean, I don't. My personal opinion, you can't depend
Uh
on
oh.
the system. So
Well, well, all right. So I don't know if you got this notice too, but I just got a text. So I want to share this. I'm not going to name the names because I haven't vetted this. It is a screenshot of a legit comment from Love Shreveport. But according to this comment, the lady making all the noise about her kid being bullied was in court Monday for hitting a school bus driver. So I don't know. There's no telling what one thing I was taught many years ago was um, nothing is ever black and white when it comes to things like this, only infinite shades of gray. So there's the facts of what happened. So, for instance, let's say this kid got hit on the bus or at school, wherever it was. That is a fact. Okay, especially if there's any camera footage. But what led up to it or what happened after it, I mean, that's could be subjective. I don't know. So, anyway.
yeah, I don't know either. And but if you I mean, I don't know, but
I
what I do know is that I can see government trying to cover their butts. I can see
Yeah,
that. That is
and
plausible to me.
that's the political time with us. Honestly, I hope none of the kids involved in this were seriously hurt. Um, but we always want a political tie-in. The political tie-in here is this is or seems to be another instance where the school board is not taking decisive action. It appears that the school board, like you said, is taking defensive action,
Well, and
right?
you're saying school board. I mean,
Or maybe
actually,
it's
I
just
don't.
the school.
The school administration would be who would be dealing with this. I don't know that the school board technically can just do anything arbitrarily on
Well,
their
are
own.
we bottom up or top down?
That's a great question. That's a great question. I kind of view the school board and the school administration as one and the same. I
Me
don't
too.
view there being no difference between the two. It's all one.
Because the
But
school board and the administrators of the school board will become aware of all this, and I'm quite sure aware of all this right now. So, and I'm not
that's
accusing
why
any of,
that's why I'm saying government. Just
yeah,
saying government.
yeah. Well, look, I have to halfway kind of blame the lawyers. We're so litigious now. You can't have a schoolyard, parking lot fight anymore without getting the authorities involved. So anyway,
Yeah, yeah,
look,
yeah,
y'all let
yeah.
us know in the comments, agree, disagree, or are we stark raving mad? You know, and look, it's not like we're super old school. We're about the same age. Everything we're talking about happened in the 80s. It's not
Yeah,
like it
that's
was that
right.
long ago. So
Well,
anyway,
speaking of, I mean, what the heck you talking about agreeing with Hal with Bossier now? I thought we were
oh,
dead
I
to
forgot
him.
about that. We are dead to him, but every now and then, you know, he puts out something that at least I agree with it. So give me a second. Let me switch screens and let me put it up on the screen and let me see if you and everybody watching agrees with it. So let's see here. Let me click this button and let me see here. Here we go. I'm going to drag it over here. So I'm going to give Bossier now credit. This was in an article that he posted. Bill Alley. Recognize that name?
I
Landmark
do.
Realty in
I know
Bossier.
Mr. Alley. I know Mr. Alley well.
All right. He has been very attentive at recent meetings, along with his compadres in the apartment rental and all that business. You remember all that was going on with the water meters and that whole situation.
Yeah.
And so, according to Bossier now, according to Bill Alley, he wants to encourage everyone, and of course we do too, to attend the city council meetings tomorrow, or the city council meeting tomorrow, and their administrative meeting or executive session meeting, and of course all future meetings, but specifically tomorrow to actually thank the council for its transparency. He says, quote, according to Bossier now, we need everyone to attend this meeting tomorrow at 3 p.m., if possible, at the Bossier Council chambers. Please encourage everyone you can to attend this meeting. We want to fill the council chambers with standing room only to say thank you to the 7 city council members for bringing transparency to our city government. We want to send Mayor Chandler a strong message. No more increases in taxes, sanitation, beautification, EMS, or water bills. As we all live within our means, the mayor and his administration need to do the same thing. Again, we want to say thank you to the 7 council members and send the mayor a loud and clear message. Hey, Tommy, no more increases. What say you,
Hey,
Mr. Lowry?
well, I find it interesting that Mr. Alley is wanting to cut off money to go into beautification and wanting to send a strong message to Mr. Chandler. I'm wondering if he thinks Mr. Chandler is going to try to put a statue in the roundabout right there where the old shed road is. And do you have any idea what the statue might would be? I think I know.
Let's see. Would it be a statue of a parking lot? No. Would it be a statue of a Tahoe?
It'd be a
No.
Tahoe. You got it on the second
Tahoe's
try.
tattoo. All right. Yeah, I have noticed that roundabout's looking a little bare. And I mean, what the heck's another $300,000 or $400,000 put a statue of a Tahoe? I mean, arguably they could stand a Tahoe on end out there in the middle of it.
Yeah, but Tommy wouldn't have that'd be second rate. It wouldn't be cool if Tommy didn't have gold handles and spinners on the tires and
Oh
it was
yeah.
spinning around. That's what Tommy would put. I mean, it'd be
But
cool.
look, he'd
But
have a spot to
but
do
you know,
selfies.
yeah, but here's the thing, you know what? It wouldn't have no stickers.
You're right. It would be decal free. Hey, speaking of decal free, I want to skip ahead for just a second because you reminded me about that. So I got some pictures, or well, we got some pictures of the Benton mayor's official vehicle or the Benton town official vehicle, whatever, minus decals. I mean, it
Are
has
you
the
tell
public
are
tags.
are you telling me the Benton mayor's got a problem with having stickers on his vehicle too?
I guess he and Tommy have been consorting together. I don't know. But yes, apparently. Now, here's the interesting twist. Now,
Wait a minute. Wait a minute. You just solved the riddle. I've been scratching my head what the hell's going on here. Why all of a sudden it's Benton front and center? I think I might have figured it out.
oh, this sounds interesting.
You said that maybe him and Tommy have been sharing notes,
Maybe so. Maybe they've been, throwing paper airplanes to each other.
but who's telling who? I mean,
Well, I don't know. If you go to the Benton town hall meetings, town council meetings, whatever, alderman meetings, uh, let's just say it was interesting. But I don't know. I mean, now, Tommy can't be sharing too many notes because he would be telling Friday, hey, when you're sitting there in a meeting, just don't say nothing.
right, right.
And
Well,
it's
anyway,
the complete opposite in Benton, I assure you that. But I just wanted to bring that up because the thought just occurred to me. But here's the twist to all this. Now, I did not see his vehicle minus the decals myself. Some pictures were shared that was definitely the vehicle. No decals on it. Non photoshopped pictures. That I do know for a fact. But apparently, by the time the meeting happened yesterday evening at 6:30, it had been vinyled up.
oh, well, were they on the fender or were they on the door?
Well, I have not seen it yet. I didn't do a drive by and go look for myself. I hadn't seen the pictures of that. Of
Okay,
course, nobody
okay.
would send us pictures of the vehicle with the decals being legal. They will, it's the
Well,
old saying, they want to see the train wreck, not the flower garden.
I was just trying to see if they were using the Bossier way. I mean, I wonder if they were the same color as the vehicle. I mean, that would be the Bossier way. So,
I wonder how much Friday charges to take selfie pictures with him. Tommy was charging $5 a picture. I wonder what Friday charges.
what are you talking about? $5 a picture? I ain't never heard that.
Yeah, you didn't know. Remember when we suggested a vinyl decal wrap for Tommy back when we dubbed him Tahoe Tommy, and I suggested that he charge $5 a selfie as a way to make a little extra income on the side.
Oh, yeah, 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 yeah. I do remember that
Yeah,
now. I do remember that.
yeah. So there's that. But in all seriousness, so I thought it was just interesting. I did not verify all of that information myself, so I will couch that with being allegedly the decals were not there, and allegedly they were by meeting time. By the time that he greeted me when I walked in the door.
Well, that's good. That's
Yeah.
good. That's good.
All right. So shall we skip on to finish talking about Benton? Do we want to have our guest on, or how are we going to play this?
Well, there's a little bit of problem with the guest thing there. So,
Uh oh. That doesn't sound good.
yeah, so I'll go ahead and fess up. We're not going to have the guest. Chris kind of tapped out on us. But it's not his fault. He said he was going to come on, and he made the caveat. He said, unless my wife had something planned that I'm not sure about. And he said, which is all possible. And I said, okay, well, I said, I got you down. I said, if something's up, just let me know. Well, after you put out that Mr. Smith is coming on the show, shortly thereafter, he had messaged me and said, hey, I got something. So,
So so we paid those Cartoon Factory employees over China overtime to crank out that cool graphic, all for naught.
well, we just save it. So the next time that we're going to have him to come on, you can use it again and just put Mr. Smith part two.
Ah,
But
part part due.
part two, yeah, yeah. But the reason there's a couple of reasons that we were going to have him on, because there was a couple of issues that you raised to me when, and you were asking some questions, I was asking some questions, and we were kind of joking about it before the show, and you you said, well, okay, said, so you're going to be the Chris Smith tonight and try to fill his shoes.
Hey, that sounds like a good
uh
idea.
yeah, so we can somewhat sort of try that, because I did kind of have a little bit of a conversation with him about a couple of these issues. So I'll do my best to talk about them.
All right, well, let's start. So you're going to be Chris Smith, and I'm going to fire off some questions. So, Mr. Smith, how have the first 70 days as council president been?
Well, as you can see, miraculously, my good looks have improved exponentially for some unknown reason. I don't know why. Perhaps it's the beard, perhaps it's the hat. I don't know. I can't explain it, but it's been good.
Let me do a little show and tell here. This is a flip flop. I didn't wear my hip waders. I wore flip flops to this show. Let's try to not to get that deep into it. Okay.
Yeah. Okay.
All right.
So, to that question, I can't answer. I don't freaking know. But look, here's what I do know. What I do know is there ain't no Viva Voce going on in Bossier anymore. But it seems like they're going to executive session a whole lot, and that's something that's been brought up to people. Look, we've got this circle of people that talk, and they said, why are they sure seems like they're going to executive session a lot.
Yeah, that is a good question. So I've got a couple of screenshots I'm going to put up as we're talking about it. First, and we've shared all this out, so I won't drag it on, but when may public bodies have closed executive sessions? They may have closed executive sessions only as provided by statute. 42:16, 42:17, 42:18 provide the instances for which a public body may enter into executive session and limit the matters that may be discussed within an executive session. In order to do that, they have to have a 2/3 vote of members present to go into it. So that answers the question of when they can go. But then what are the reasons? Whoops, that's a little large. What are the reasons for going into executive session? Well, discussion of character, professional competence. Well, I have so many comments that I could interject for professional competence of certain people. But anyway, or physical or mental, well, and the mental health too, of a person. And then I've got highlighted at the bottom, uh, prospective. This is key. Listen carefully. Prospective litigation after formal written demand. Now, Duke, refresh my memory. Haven't we heard some legal turkeys before try to assert that they needed to go into executive session because there was the threat of litigation? Am
Oh,
I
oh yeah.
crazy?
Yeah, oh yeah, no, definitely. You're definitely crazy, for sure. But I do remember at a council meeting, I think it might have been somebody by the last name of Hambone, something like that, that made a request. Was there anything in writing? To which the attorney said, no, 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 there ain't nothing in writing, nothing in writing.
Yeah.
Yeah, I I think
Okay.
so.
All right. The other reason would be, or litigation when an open meeting would have a detrimental effect on the bargaining or litigating position of the public body. Now, The two cases are that they have listed are Red Rover and West Marriott's case. If I remember correctly, West Marriott's is pretty much like a First Amendment free speech type lawsuit. And Red Rover is straight up, y'all have all seen the video thousands of times, straight up the city attorney's office, which that brings in a whole other argument with executive session, but the city attorney's office trying to call the shots and have somebody issued a ticket, basically a semi quasi arrest for literally no reason, according to the officer on scene. Not us making that up. The officer's actual words. Y'all have seen it in the Red Rover video. So my question would be to Mr. Smith via Mr. Duke here, Mr. Lowry, would be what detrimental effect would a open meeting have on the bargaining or litigating position of that? In my opinion, the city council is a public body. They should do nothing behind closed doors. I would argue even negotiating with potential businesses, moving into the town, those negotiations should be public. I'll allow the other side of the coin for that, but everything else should be completely open to me. What say you?
Well, I mean, look, your your elected officials, whether you like it or not, have a fiduciary responsibility to the city of Bossier, to the elected office that they're in. That's what they have to protect it. And if, say, for example, you knew that you had that public hearing and your attorneys were a part of all of this and said something um, that may cost the city who you're supposed to represent more money. And this is not Chris talking. This is just Duke. Because I mean, no way in hell I would let them speak in public. You daggum right, I would make it go into executive session. But I don't think that's what's happening here. And again, this is Chris is going to need to come on and going to kind of explain this because he was kind of explaining to me a little bit about it. And I think part of the issue is when you start getting into this having meetings with councilmen and then telling the other councilman about the meeting or whatever. So say for instance, if you're gonna if the council wants to know about a case, right? If they want to know about one of these two cases, um, historically, you know, so many of them would just go over there and they would sit down and have a meeting. And then that contents of that meeting would then get verbally talked to the other councilman and spread however. So what would be the problem with that?
Well, a walking quorum.
That's exactly right. So the only way that you can really and truly have a discussion about, and every councilman be informed on all of the issues is to go into executive session on this deal. I mean,
But they don't
if
have to go into
they don't
executive
have
session. That
they
is
don't
my point.
have they don't have to, but if you I'm this is the Duke part speculating, if you knowingly did it in the public and people who are partly responsible in these cases in particular said something that may be damaging to the city and cost the city more millions of dollars, if you knew that potential was there, would you be breaching your fiduciary responsibility to the city and the citizens if you
There
did
might
it knowing that potential is there?
there might be an argument to be made for that. I will concede that particular point, but I still stick to it should all be out in the open. And I want to point out the reason I have this screenshot up again is to reiterate the fact a body is not allowed to close a meeting to discuss the possibility of litigation. Now, I'm not saying that tomorrow's executive session is about the possibility. These are actual ongoing lawsuits. Red Rover and the West Marriott, both separate cases That is ongoing litigation. But this is referring back to statements we've heard from the legal turkey department before. It may, keyword because words matter, may discuss in closed session current litigation that is ongoing and already filed only if discussion in open meeting would be detrimental to the body's position in litigation. Key words there, and you can refer to Louisiana Revised Statute 42:19 to verify that.
Yeah.
So,
So I will leave the rest of that to Chris when he comes on to kind of talk about that subject matter. And kind of explain because I'll just leave that one to him.
yeah.
Um,
And look, full disclosure, I only pretend to be a Facebook lawyer. I am not a lawyer. Don't take legal advice from me, blah, 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 that. But a lot of this is plain reading. So,
yeah, it
uh,
is.
just so everybody knows, here's the executive session for tomorrow, which let me scroll. All right, this is at 11 a.m. tomorrow. So you can go to the deal when they go into executive session. They'll leave and go into another room. But the key thing with this is it's Weston Marriott versus City of Bossier. Interestingly, apparently they have this listed wrong. Um, Currently pending in U.S. District Court, Western District of Louisiana. Apparently, it's not in that court. Maybe they got the case number right. And then, of course, the Red Rover Group, LLC, versus City of Bossier case as well. But they cannot make any decisions inside that executive session. So they can't vote on anything. They can't vote to take any action except in an open meeting. All right. So, and we see here, this is 42:16, no final or binding action shall be taken during an executive session. Nothing in this section or RS 42:17 shall be construed to require that any meeting be closed to the general or to the public. Read that. Nothing in this section or 42:17 shall be construed to require that any meeting be closed to the public. So, there we go.
Oh, Paul Johnson. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Um, so, so Rex, one of the other things, I don't know if you're done with that or if you want to.
For the most part. I had some more questions for Chris, like I was going to. I don't think I'm going to say them on the show because I don't want to give him any heads up.
Oh, good grief.
I'll just say that highlighted C down there, Chris, is a hint to one of the questions I'm going to ask about.
Right, 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 right.
And
Um,
not picking on Chris. Generally, I think Chris and the rest of the council so far has done a pretty good job.
yeah, and I got to tell you, I had forgotten, so we got a couple of emails. People were saying, because I think one of the things coming up was about the purchase of that building off of Benton Road. I don't remember how many millions it was or something like that, but it was quite a bit of money or something or another. And I'd forgotten what that was all about. I mean, it's sad to say that, we kind of look at things and then it goes by the wayside, time flies by, you forget about it. So I had to call Chris and ask about that particular issue, say, remind me about the deal on this or whatever. And he started talking and it started clicking in my head. So the city is in fact purchasing that building. And the one that we're talking
Okay.
about, when you go over the overpass, over the train tracks by Tubbs Hardware, and I don't remember maybe it was
Was it a
General
bank or
Dynamic.
something?
It was
It
a
used to.
bank.
Yeah, it used to be a
Yeah.
bank a long time ago. By the McDonald's and where the road kind of winds together and that red light's right there.
Yeah, yeah, Azaroos, and you go to the heart of Bossier, you turn right there by it to go to the heart of Bossier.
Yeah.
Anyway, the city's buying that building, and um, which seems kind of extreme to me. Yeah, yeah, I get it, but um, what's going to be happening is the Council on Aging. I mean, do y'all know where the Council on Aging is? The Council on Aging is in a dump of a building down by the old Bossier High School. And there's numerous other organizations that are going to be all moving into that building that come from other city government proceeds. And it's going to basically consolidate a lot of different, entities that get money out of the coffers into one location. As I appreciate it as well. Now, this is, and again, Chris can come back and clean this up and tell y'all, because we had a really quick conversation, and I'm just going off of my memory. And look, I'm 55 years old, and my wife is now 55 years old. So yeah, we're getting, counting the days to being able to get a discount, right? But um, so your water bill, Rex.
Mm-hmm.
If you want to go pay your water bill, guess what? As I appreciate it, you're going to be able to go in, and there's going to be a drive-through in the city of Bossier where you can go and pay your water bill, and you don't have to get out of your car, go through security, and hike a mile from the parking lot at the complex to go inside and tend to your business with your water bill.
Why
You'll be
wouldn't you
able to
just pay it
do it.
online?
Well, you could do that too, but I think they charge you extra for that. But
Well, they
if you
do,
want to
but you
go,
burn up gas.
what if you're out and about? You had to go get a Big Mac, and you're right there.
Okay, good point. Fair point.
Cost basis thing. That's what you should have said. Well, okay, I get it. Your cost basis still costs you. You're a little slow tonight. Anyway, but you got
Yeah.
to drive through. I like
Right.
it. I like
Okay.
it. And
Okay.
and so then he started talking about that these other buildings that they're having to put this money in, that they're going to be able to end up disposing of those properties, disposing of the expenses that it costs the city for insurance and maintenance on all of those, and they're going to consolidate, you know, all these different places into this one place. And I think um, there's going to be some aspect. Well, let me back up. And I'm going to say it this way: a couple of public safety aspects are going to be in that building, and what can be disclosed or what he wants to disclose, I'll leave it to him to say when he comes back home. But there's a lot of different entities that are going to end up being in this building.
Okay.
So
Well, I don't have so much of a problem with. I was the way I read it, or somebody had posted something or commented maybe um, that they were gonna lease this out to private businesses. And that I kind of had a little bit of an issue with. But if they're going to use it for legit, governmental services or whatever, I mean, what's the $4 million among friends?
right, and Val Baker says, but the 4 million can't come from one fund, so they have to get it from another fund. That's correct. And uh, part of the deal was the monies that they were going to use. It had a specific use that it had to be used for, and one of the purposes to which they want to be able to use this building for, if they do that, they can't use those funds that they originally were going to use, so they're going to have to kind of move money around. But overall, I mean, it's a consolidation and
Right.
getting rid of other properties. And I think I think it's a smart move. I think they're being wise. And at first blush, I was like you. I was like, oh no, no. I mean, the libertarian in me is about, this is
Well,
government
but
trying to do things they shouldn't be doing.
let me ask this, and I've not checked in a while, but it's my understanding that that our uh, that I just got a text message. They should buy the boardwalk. That's
We are. Well, no, that ain't right.
yeah.
I was going to say we already bought it once. I mean, what, we're going to
All
buy it
right,
again?
so let me pose this question: what's the population growth of Bossier? Do we have
I don't.
more people now as the population changed? Because I know the population was stagnant, if not maybe slightly declined. We had that argument with the princess a long time ago. But is the population growing and thus we need more buildings? Or because if it's staying the same and everybody's getting along fine, then why we got to spend another $4 million? I don't care where it comes from.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't
Is
know.
our city hall falling apart like the police station over in Shreveport?
Well, they just upgraded the city council chambers a pretty good bit. Rusty Maddox points out in the comments. But
Yeah.
I don't think the city hall is
Or
falling apart.
well, or
And
it's just they got other people's money being all of our tax dollars sitting there, and so they got to figure out ways to spend it. Is that it?
well, look, okay, all right. I'm gonna put that hat on. So I challenge you to go down to the Council on Aging into the building. It's a dump, and I mean, look, there's a lot of people, and the Council on Aging does a lot of good in our community to support, elderly folks and
Right.
people. Believe it or not, there are elderly folks that don't have family and don't have people to help them out or take care of them. And there's a lot of meals, there's a lot of good things that flow through there, and they do more in the building than you would think that they should be able to do. You would
Right.
probably lose your mind over it. But I'm just saying that a consolidation, and there's several good programs that we're already putting money, and we're putting a lot of city money into, and we're maintaining substandard structures that, why spend money on all these different places when we can consolidate it into one lump sum and save money at the same time doing so.
Okay,
I
so make sure I'm understanding, and I agree with what you just said. So I'm not trying to argue that point at all. They're going to use this building for more city services, or they're going to use it for the council on aging, or what exactly are they going to use
it
it for?
it's going to be all of the above. It's going to be more city services. They're going to move part of, and again, I'm stretching what I should be saying,
Okay.
but the ability for you to pay your water bill, there's going to be something to do with people being able to pay. I don't know if it's their taxes or pay their water bills or whatever. That part is going to move over, or it may be an additional place where you can just go through a drive through to conduct your business with the city of Bossier, rather than having to get out of your car and hike a mile to go inside city hall to do your business. I don't know how they're going to do it, but it's something along those lines. Council on Aging is going to be in there, and there's going to be various other entities and parts of city government are going to be in that building. You know, so there's a consolidation move here, and as I appreciate it, to try to save money and get rid of some of the other assets that are substandard and costing people.
All right. So you know what I'm doing right now, right?
You going to measure
I'm check.
square foot and
No,
stuff like
I'm
that?
no, I'm measuring the parking lot space there. See if we're going to have any more parking lot shenanigans.
Well, unless they need an overpass, I don't think it's going to happen.
Don't put it past them. So all right.
And to my wife, I mean, look, y'all have got to understand. I only had about a 5 to 10 minute conversation on this question, and I got probably 6 or 7 different things that were going to be put in here, spit at me like in the matter of less than a minute. And I wasn't taking notes. I actually had grease on my hands turning a wrench. So I'm strictly going off of memory of that short conversation. And Chris was supposed to be here because when he started telling me, I said, Chris, I said, look, you need to come on the show and you just need to kind of say that to everybody, tell everybody. And he said, yeah, I agree. I got no problem doing that. And he's like, people need to know. And I was like, yeah, they need to know. I said, because that sounds great. That's the kind
Yeah.
of thing that people want to hear, that you're being proactive and that you're working to try to streamline, make things easier. And it's not just, you're just trying to spend taxpayer dollars. You're actually trying to save money.
Yeah. I yeah, I don't disagree with that premise, but again, I go back to the one question that needs to be answered. Do we already, with the exception of the Council on Aging building, but do we really have that much population growth to justify needing more building space. I just can't get away from that.
Well, look, now on that point, I'll go back because I'm sitting here in my mind the whole time I'm talking and you're talking and we're talking about the subject. I'm thinking about the old library.
Yeah, yeah,
It's
it's
vacant,
just sitting there. Yeah, and
but
again, our mutual friend says 4 million for the boardwalk plus it's taken off the property tax rolls. I don't know. Boardwalk would be cool. I'm not saying it's the best. It would have plenty of parking too, I hope. Um, Maybe they would try to consolidate with Bass Pro's parking lot. No, they're already joined, so we don't have to worry about that mess.
well, look, not according to Chris. This ain't got nothing to do with Chris, but I have it on good authority that there's something coming down there to the boardwalk.
Oh,
That's
did
it's
Tommy tell you
coming.
that?
It's coming. It's coming.
Is it
Yeah,
more
he called.
foreplay stuff at
Yeah,
the?
he called me and was, look, you gotta get Rex off my butt. He's like, he's eating me up, and I was like, I can't make Rex do nothing. He's his own man. I was like,
Is he going to
he
put a swingers club down there?
I don't know what
Because
you're
if
talking
so, I
about.
am not interested.
Oh, the yeah. Well, I don't know why the port don't just buy it. The port
Yeah,
should why I mean, why is the port wanting to build their own entertainment district down by the port and their own hotel with y'all's tax dollars, by the way, when they could just buy this one right here?
yeah,
Just buy this one and operate this one. There you
yeah.
go. Port,
Interesting.
say you can buy it pennies on the dollar.
Very interesting. Okay, enough of that. You can take off your Mr. Smith hat. You did a fine job considering you
I
had
don't
limited preparation.
I don't think I technically had the hat on. I mean, but
Yeah, I know. Just got to give you a
I,
hard time because he was going to be a guest. I made the minions in the cartoon factory. The Chinese minions work overtime to crank that out at the last minute, and then he's a no-show.
okay, well, he owes you for that. That's
He
on
does.
him.
Other than that, since July, I'm pretty good with Mr. Smith, but he's going to have to make up for it. And I'm going to take the softball questions when he comes on the show out of the list. No softballs.
Well, see, now he's never going to come on again.
Curveballs only, Mr. Smith. No, I'm just kidding. I do hope he comes on because he has been one of the more consistent councilmen with coming on the show a couple of times.
Yeah,
So
that's
there's that.
right.
Even
Oh,
when he was not happy with me.
and he did come on to confront us, or
Yes,
like
he
it or
did.
not, whether you agreed. He came on to confront.
Yes, he did. I give him absolute credit for that. So,
Hey,
anyway,
Jeff Stadall said the old library is supposed to be consolidated into the history center.
where the hell is the
Well,
History Center?
I don't
Why do
know.
we
I
need
want.
a bigger History Center? Not that much history's gone by since they shut that library down.
You think 50 years from now they'll mention Bossier Watch in history or Jeff Sadow
Hey, I have so many comments for that.
or Marty Carlson or any, you know, people like that, Jim
Yeah.
Wells? You think any of the people who have called out and pointed out the historical problems within Bossier, do you think any of those names will ever make it into history?
They should mention Hal and Bossier now for his part that he played in increasing the transparency of the current city council. Bill Alley
That's
should
right.
thank Hal
They should thank
for
Hal.
the role that he played in literally changing city government forever in the city of Bossier. But I
Single-handedly.
digress. Yes,
Single-handedly.
but I digress. It was
I
just
can
all Hal.
I can see him out there with those term limits petitions right now, just like Sacagawea planting all of that unharvested agricultural corn in Missouri to shortstop
Yes.
migratory waterfowl to Louisiana. I can see it.
Now, I wonder if this person who keeps peppering my text messages has some kind of financial interest in the boardwalk, and that's why he's trying to get the city to buy it. I'm not
Oh,
going to name his name.
oh, did we touch a nerve? Did we?
I don't know if we touched a nerve, but he's peppered me with 3 or 4 text messages about selling the boardwalk to the city.
Look, I,
Which I don't, that's not a bad idea. I got to do something with the boardwalk. But anyway,
I don't know who that is, but y'all are missing the boat. You barking up the wrong tree, dog. You need to be buying Pierre Bossier Mall. That's
Oh
what you
yeah, I
need to
forgot
be
about that.
buying. That's the
Yeah, yeah.
property to buy.
Well, okay. Shall we move on and let's get on the Benton stuff because that's going to take a few minutes, and I don't want to go super drag this on too terribly late tonight.
Oh, well,
Shall we shift gears?
yeah, let's go to Benton and let's see what Benton's got cooking up there. You know, for once, it's not Bossier City that's stirring up and causing controversy, but Benton is actually top of the food chain.
Yes, they are. All right, so give me just a second. Let me do my little clicking here. I got the wrong thing about to pull up. Da 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 da. That, and I think that should be it. Okay. Hopefully everybody can see that. So I decided, we've had several people reach out to us about some things going on in Benton that they don't agree with at the meetings and beyond. And look, I'll be honest, some of it is, two cats in a closet type situation. But I gotta say, after watching Chris Redford's live stream, and we reported on last week the town council meeting from last month, or maybe it was a couple of weeks ago when we reported on it. And then last night, I was sitting there and I literally was flipping a coin. Peck meeting, Benton Town Council. I chose the Benton Town Council. Plus, I got to pull out my cool camera and audio gear and all that. And so I decided to head up there, which I hadn't been up there in quite a while. And as you alluded to at the beginning of the show, I mean, I didn't even make it 3 steps in the door, and Mr. Friday was greeting me. He was cordial, but reminded me that I hadn't been up there in a while. And, you'll see that comes into play because he asks a couple of people, or he reminds them that they're not residents of Benton, which doesn't matter under the law. Anyway, so it was something else. So I've got a bunch of stuff. I'm just going to roll through this pretty quick and stop me with any questions. And anybody that is from Benton, you may want to tag your friends. And we're about to watch the town council meeting, board of aldermen meeting from last night. All right. So right out of the gate, Miss Tiffany Manning, she is one of the alder women, I guess would be the correct term, one of the aldermen from up there, and she's asking to amend the agenda for timely packages of information, and that's going to come into play. Pay attention a little bit further into this. So here we go.
Agenda tonight? Okay, I'm sorry. Now it's time. I would like to amend the agenda because we need a policy on council receiving the packets timely to discuss an ordinance for advanced delivery of the council meeting packet.
All right, so basically the contention is they're not getting information in a timely manner before the meetings. And you're going to see that this must be true with a couple of quotes, including from the town attorney, Neil Irwin. And so she's making a motion to amend the agenda to add an item. And, in Robert's Rules of Order and all that, it would require a unanimous vote to add something to an already published agenda. And Friday here, listen to what he tries to do. I'll let him speak for himself.
Roll call.
Well, was there a second?
Second.
Thank you.
Now she's got a second.
All right.
Here we go.
Now, before y'all vote on this, I would rather that y'all discuss this at a workshop instead of put this on the agenda tonight, so that we can discuss this in detail. And some of the people don't understand some of the rules that y'all pulling up. So,
did you hear that? Kind of hard to fully understand because the air conditioning was going, but he said
First thing I heard he said was need to have a workshop meeting.
Yeah, a workshop meeting, which would be attended by more or less people in the audience, usually. Less, right? I mean, now, granted, look, I've got a pan shot that I don't show and hear that in my phone. It was almost standing room only in the little town hall. And then he goes on to say, you're right, workshop, and because some people don't understand all the stuff they're talking about. All right, so let's
Okay.
let's just let them continue.
Okay.
If y'all would, I'd like to table this and put it in the workshop situation. So let's, have a,
Mr. Neal, is that how, added, amendment goes?
That is correct.
Okay.
You make a motion, it's been seconded, and there has to be a vote.
So that's Neil Irwin speaking up. He is correct. There was a motion. There was a second. The
Wait a
mayor
minute.
said his piece.
You said Neil Irwin. I thought he was resigning. I thought he was going away.
That's what we heard, but apparently it was either him or a close facsimile.
Okay, I guess that was bad information that was conveyed to us. Anyway, okay,
I guess
on.
so. So he's letting Miss Manning know that, yeah, there was a vote and a second, and basically, Mayor, they got to vote on it or do something with it. All right, here we go.
We haven't voted.
no, we haven't voted yet. But I'm asking that y'all deny tonight and put it in a workshop.
Now, I got to thinking about this. Why would he want to put this in a workshop? Oh, because it might bring up some issues that they've been having with publishing documentation. If they get into a discussion over this, which may turn out to be like last month's council meeting where all kinds of accusations were thrown around. So I didn't ask him. I'm just surmising that was probably his goal. But here we go.
Yes,
And roll call vote?
we can.
We can table it for workshop as the mayor suggested. That's fine.
Okay, then we're fixing votes, I'll say no.
No, if you're are you withdrawing the motion?
I'm not, but, no, I'm not.
Okay. Is the second being withdrawn or not?
No,
All right, so Irwin just confirmed, was the motion withdrawn? No. Was the second withdrawn? No. I got to tell you, just sitting there, and again, I went in there with nothing really against Friday. I mean, I had never had any real words with him or anything like that. But it didn't take but just a couple of minutes till I figured out what was going on. And basically, the mayor up there is used to strong-arming these meetings. And so I advised several council persons, not just the two ladies there, that they need to look up certain information so they can learn how to fix the basic core structure of how those meetings are conducted. And they do have the legal right to do that. So, any commentary yet? I mean, we're 2 minutes into this.
Why have they not voted? I don't. What's the discussion here? I mean, they made a motion, and you're asking them to table it or to put it into a workshop, and they're saying no. Just
He's
vote
delaying.
on it. If you don't want to vote on it, I mean, if you don't want to do it, just all it takes is one of the other people to vote no.
Yeah.
Why are
Well,
you talking about it and
now
droning on about it?
I want you to notice a couple of things. See if you catch something that's missing here in a few minutes. And here in just a couple of seconds, we're going to get to see the vote, and I want you to see the vote count. All right. Now, remember, it's got to be unanimous to add this to the agenda. That's just adding to the agenda. All right. Here we go.
Have a vote?
Ms. Carr? Yes. Ms. Manning?
Yes.
Ms. Branson? Yes. Ms. Perry? Yes. Mr. Lawrence?
Yes.
Okay. Got added to the agenda. Notice anything
How
missing
about
there?
that? I guess
Maybe
I wasn't paying attention.
I mean, the mayor was commenting a lot. Did anybody else? Nope.
Oh, no public comment.
Keep that in mind. We're keeping count. We should do the drinking game for how many times they skip public comment. We wouldn't make it through the rest of the show.
I mean, look, I'm not okay. When you get off into these smaller town governments and all. I'm not going to hold a smaller city government as accountable as I am, say, City of Bossier, City of Shreveport. I mean, I'm going to give them a little bit of grace and a little bit of latitude here.
For what?
But well, let me finish. But here's the rub on that. Should it be us pointing this out? Or should it be what's that attorney sitting there for?
Oh, this is going to get much better here in a few minutes.
I
Much
mean,
better.
isn't it the role of the attorney to ensure and make sure that they're doing everything by the book? He's sitting there being paid to make sure that they do. We're not getting paid to point this
Right.
out. He's
Right.
there in the heat of the moment and should be pointing out, Mr. Mayor, you need to have public comment that's not right.
Well, once the heat turns up a little bit, he does actually start doing that later in the meeting. And I'd also like to point out, we've from time to time had a couple issues with Phyllis, but down here, Phyllis, and I'm not saying this is Stephanie's job or that she has to do this, but Phyllis on the Bossier City Council does a pretty good job of trying to keep that in line as well as the clerk.
Yeah, Phyllis definitely jumps up
Yeah.
there and says, "I think you need to do this. I think you need to do that," she because she's the one that's got to make it all on paper,
Right.
look right and be submitted right.
Yep.
But there, I don't know. But
All
any
right.
small, just like plain dealing, the attorney up there in plain dealing, he was always jumping in the middle of all that stuff. Why are they not jumping in right here?
That's a good question. All right, here we go.
That's to amend the agenda.
Yes.
And then
So we'll put that, as item number
Number 1.
3.
no, one of new business.
Pardon me?
One of new business, sorry.
Friday's like, wait, we got to talk about this first thing now? Under new business. All right, here we go.
And, so the amendment is for what purpose there? What was the, motion?
Advanced delivery of council meeting packets.
All right, so the motion is basically, again, advanced delivery of meeting packets. In other words, and again, it'll be more clear here in just a little bit why this is actually important. It's not just these ladies raising Cain. I mean, they literally have a valid reason for doing this. You'll see when Friday has a Pelosi moment here in a little bit. All right, so I'm going to jump ahead. Here's the motion to approve.
I want to push back on something right here. I mean,
Okay.
Jerry Castellani said, no, the clerk in Benton influences decisions, at least when it comes to water rates. I mean, look, I gotta get this water rate thing here. I get it, but I don't get it, because the bottom line is it's a choice before anybody here on the water stuff. The people in Benton made the choice to tie themselves to the city of Bossier on this water rate thing, and
Well,
the cost that comes in. There's nothing you can do about it. You're
all right,
tied
hold
into
on.
Benton unless you want to go producing your own water. So there's not a lot to talk about here.
Let me share something that you may not realize. We have the information from the city of Bossier on that. The letter that was sent. Now, I've not had time to analyze it for tonight's show. So I'm not saying it's right, wrong, or indifferent one way or the other. I'm just saying that information was received from City of Bossier, and we do have a copy of it.
Yeah, well, we know that the city of Bossier sent the letter
Sure.
telling them that the water was going to. They did that in January.
Right.
We know that. The only way I would find any grievance really in that is if there's a exceptional increase on the citizens of Benton that's just unjustified, and doesn't match what the cost is, because the city of Benton shouldn't be in the business of trying to make money. They should be just passing the expense on, and whatever the expense is, it's justified. Now, I think in some of the arguments that they're having here is whether or not you're putting the expense now and the expense that's going to come just a little bit down the road and doing it all at one time, or doing it a little now and a little later. Okay, I get it. We can argue about the decision to do one or the other, but at the end of the day, so long as it's not doubling your water bill, over the price of what you're being charged, I'm not really sure what the grievance is here.
I
I
think
don't get
some
it.
of it, I think it's mostly the communication of that and the calculations. Now, again, I hadn't sat down and run the math on this. We talked about their meeting last month, and we're talking about this tonight. I've not sat down and put a pencil to the paper and run the math to see if there is a discrepancy, or if there isn't a discrepancy and everything is 100% on the up and up, which it very well may be. So I think, but that's the problem, is there are just these lingering questions. Okay, here we go. So Miss Perry, one of the other alder women or alder persons,
I wasn't able to access the email.
says
with the
here
information
that she
you
was not
sent
able
for
to
that.
get a copy of the minutes and wasn't able to access that from August. I think part of the problem, and we'll see later on, Stephanie talks about um, the timely manner of getting stuff out to the Journal or Tribune or whatever, because the minutes were 16 pages long. Well, that's because she literally transcribed every single comment of last month's meeting. Some meetings they've transcribed every comment, some meetings, and as you well know, Duke, and most of y'all watching, you don't have to transcribe every single comment made for the minutes. You just have to keep the general things that happened, things that were voted on, motions made, ordinances, and all that. So I don't know. It's like this tit for tat thing going on. But anyway, Miss Perry said she didn't get a copy, so they handed her over a copy, and they finally approved the minutes. Skipping forward, and Miss Tiffany's in the comments, so maybe she can clarify a little bit. She was asking about this, I think it was a transportation advertisement, and apparently there was some drama about it. So she was clarifying that, but more interesting is what Friday says, so y'all listen up.
With the transportation ad, the publication, I did some research, and I spoke with the people at the transportation publication, and they stated that they did speak with Hope Murphy under your leadership, Mayor, concerning the ad. And I just want to make sure that I clear the name of the company that you work for concerning this ad, because it's not identified in the meeting minutes. So I just want to make clear of that.
Now, listen to Friday's
So you
response.
said the previous company I used to work for?
Yes. They contacted me and said that they had no association with the town at all.
That's correct.
All right.
And that's the ad that was published, and it was stated that someone from the office, Hope Murphy, sent in the business card for approval, and that's how the ad got into the.
No one sent the business card.
All right, here we go.
Okay.
That was some, as you're stating and talking about these people here, they have no affiliation with the state of Louisiana in any form. They're just a magazine. And that's all they did. They just, and we didn't have any approval for this magazine. And if you see on the back here, they just put a blank card in there, and then just put the phone number and town of Benton and put the seal on it. They didn't put anybody's name or addresses on there. And it was it was kind of a scam type deal the way they did it. And we tried to refuse it, but they had already published it, so we had to pay for it, even though they didn't actually get authorization from either one of us to put it in the paper.
All right, did y'all hear that? So basically, and again, correct me in the comments if I'm wrong, but basically somehow they got scammed into paying for an ad that nobody with authority at the city approved, so they just went ahead and paid it anyway. Well, what the hell are they paying their town attorney for? Shouldn't they have said, hey, these people ran this ad, they didn't get approval or authorization, and they pretty much scammed their way into somebody on the phone and ran this ad, and they're billing us for it. Do we have to pay this? And the attorney would have said, let me send a nastygram, and you wouldn't have to pay for it. Of course, I guess you'd have to pay the attorney then for sending the nastygram, but still.
Did I just hear what I just heard? Did I hear that right?
Well, tell me what you think you heard.
So if I want them to run an ad on Bossier Watch, we just need to put town of Benton and the phone number and maybe a picture of a map and send them a bill.
Yeah, I could do it right now. I can put a
like
little
it.
square up. Yeah, hold on. Look, see, I'll put this little square up right here, and we'll get the town's logo, and we'll put it in that square right there, and we'll bill them for it, and they'll just pay it because we billed them.
I like it. I like it.
Is that not the stupidest thing you have heard tonight?
I don't know what to say. Has that ever? I
And they literally, and the attorney says nothing. There we go. There's their ad right there. Town of Benton. We're sending y'all an invoice. Y'all just pay it. We're billing y'all for advertising.
Boy, I don't know what to say about that one. I don't know how that. I got no words.
Okay. Yeah, and unfortunately, we're only 7 minutes into this thing. Okay, so the next section here that I want to jump to is about the 10-minute point. And I'm not going to play through this whole thing, but these two guys are from a water meter company. Apparently, they're in charge of, or their company helps facilitate the existing water meter readings and bills. And the town of Benton is apparently spending north of $100,000, correct me if I'm wrong in the comments, to put in a wireless system, I'm assuming probably cellular or whatever, so that the meter reader doesn't have to drive around to the meters all the time. By putting in this cellular system, the town will be on the hook for providing electricity, and I think these guys provide the battery backup. And then it will cost.
Wait a minute. You're talking about
on
the water meters?
Yeah, I went through pitching the idea. I'm sad.
No, this is an idea that they're pitching?
No, Friday's ramrodding it through. This is where it starts getting really good.
Yes, but
look, nothing wrong with these guys' presentation. That's not the point. The point is how this is getting to the town council.
Okay, go ahead, because I'm thinking back about Bossier City and meters, and a lot of money just got spent in Bossier City. Go ahead.
So Friday addresses that. He actually talks about it, but let's hear, because here's what it's going to cost the town of Benton per meter per year. And again, this allows the city in real time to see what the meter readings are. This system apparently pings the Wi-Fi setup 4 times a day, so they pretty much know in real time what your meter reading is at any point in time and can identify problems or billing issues or whatever the case is. So here we go.
And it says each, so.
Yeah, so it's $4.32 per meter. Per meter per year. And you'll have 2,776, which comes up to that 11,900.
Gotcha.
And hold on.
So is he saying $4 and something per month per meter?
The way I understood it, I can go back and play it. $4.32 per meter per year times 2,007 currently 2,776 meters. Plus, he's fixing to tell them there's a $100,000 installation fee. I think I read that correctly. I didn't get a copy of the packet either because
To have cellular meters.
yes, but look, hey, it saves the labor.
No, I'm thinking about if he can put a cellular thing for a year for $4, or let's just round it up to $5. I want to freaking talk to that guy because
Well,
I got a bunch of
here's
cellular cameras I want him to put these
ding ding ding
$5
ding ding
cellulars
ding.
on.
Well, I think what they're doing is they're going to distribute X number of these little pickup towers or devices or access points or whatever throughout the town. And the meters talk to those devices, then those devices actually have the cellular account and transmit the data because it's small amounts of data. So it's not like each meter is going to be talking directly to cellular or whatever, or, I don't know, maybe they're using wide area Wi-Fi or something like that. Maybe it's not cellular. But anyway, the important point is, listen to this.
So the 100,000 is what we will be paying, just the one-time fee, or what's it? Okay.
Yeah. And that's us doing the installation. We've got a subcontractor we work with. They'll go up and put the antennas on. Really the only thing.
So the way I understood it, it's $100,000 to go out and put these antennas on. And then $4.32 per meter per year for the software service. That was my understanding. So there's your little town math.
Wow.
All right. And look, maybe it's a good system. I'm not arguing or debating that. And I'm sure these guys are absolutely legit. That's not the point. The point is right here, listen to Friday read the resolution.
All right, any more questions, anything? I have a resolution here, Resolution 10 of 25, a resolution to approve the water system improvement project. Whereas the Board of Aldermen in the town of Benton, Bossier Parish, Louisiana, desire to improve the water system, provide better service of water to customers, and whereas the project consists of tower read equipment, smart reader meters for continuous monitoring usage, analyzing flow data, and early detection of irregularities. Some software upgrades will allow customers to monitor consumption in real time.
All right. Now, I'm going to jump forward because he mentions Bossier City.
This week, but Bossier City is spending $3 million to upgrade their system, which we're already starting to do here. So that's how much they've gone out.
Saving the town a bit of money, and maybe so. But here's the interesting thing. Listen to this exchange when Miss Manning asks a question. Listen up carefully.
Ma'am, let me
I don't
ask
have
you a
that,
question.
I don't have that resolution.
I know nobody, I got it here, it's ready.
Did you hear what he said?
I did not.
All right.
It's a little hard.
All right. Listen carefully.
They've gone after the rest of theirs.
Ma'am, let me
I don't
ask
have
you a
that,
question.
I don't have that resolution.
I couldn't understand it. What did he say?
All right. Miss Carr and Miss Manning said, Mr. Mayor, we don't have a copy of that resolution. And he says, I know. I just read it. We're fixing to vote on it.
Okay. So you're telling me that we're governing by just showing up to a meeting and springing things and expecting people to vote on things.
Well, I think Friday is confused. I think he ran as a Republican. I think he claims as a Republican, but I got to say that's his Nancy Pelosi minute right there. Moment. Literally, y'all don't get to review. Oh, and the best part's coming up. Hold on just a second. The best part's
but wait a
coming
minute.
up in a minute.
We're being critical here. Has this been the way that business has been being done in Benton for however many years? He was on the council, or he was an
16
alderman
years.
for for all these years. Is that how they've done it for all these years?
I don't know. I mean, apparently I should have been going up to these meetings for a while. You know, like he reminded me, last time I was at one was a couple of years ago, and that was over the Robert Berry, Gary Asshat Weiss situation. So here's the deal. But this gets even better because Miss Carr and Miss Manning are asking about bid laws and was this the lowest bid and all that sort of thing. So let's listen up.
I know nobody, I got it here, it's ready. We're gonna vote on it.
See, I got it right here. I just read it. We're going to vote on it. I'm not making this up. That's literally what the man said.
I don't know from what playbook the town of Benton is operating under, and you've got an attorney sitting there that should be pulling your reins back and saying this isn't how you do things. And boy, I'll tell you, Benton's got some problems right here with the way they're doing business.
That appear, and again, I'm looking at this objectively. Other than I do spend some money in Benton, when I'm up there eating lunch. Look, the Bossier watch hats are made in Benton by Destiny Collier up there. I bought gas up there. My eyeglasses came from VistaVision up there in Benton. I think they're actually in the Benton city limits or whatever. So I do spend money in Benton occasionally, not as much as you and Kara do. But, this is crazy. And so I went into this looking at it objectively, knowing there were some issues. But, a lot of times people tell us this and it's like, yeah, right, whatever. No, it's really going on. So my problem is not the tit for tat between members of the staff and all that's going on. It's procedurally what they're doing right or wrong here.
Yeah, and this is simple stuff. This is basic stuff. This isn't like deep throat Bossier City stuff. This is basic governance stuff here.
Yeah,
that,
easy stuff
is problematic. But I keep going back to, why is the attorney sitting there? Why is he even there?
You're about to hear in just a couple of minutes. Let me get through. So Miss Carr asked about, was this the lowest bid? And basically, no, they didn't bid it out because apparently these guys their systems are already integrated with this or whatever the excuse was. And I need to do a refresher on the bid law in the state of Louisiana. I don't think this falls under a requirement for the bid law. I don't think. I could be wrong about that. But there's an important question that Ms. Carr asked about the water bill increase. So let's listen to that real quick.
This won't cause anybody's water bill to be increased to kind of cover this.
No.
Thank you.
All right. So this won't cause anybody's water bill to be increased. The answer from Friday, no. All right. Now, again, Miss Manning asked about some bids and wants to know if they're following the bid law. But listen to this. So I'm going to start where she's asking about following the bid law. And I want you to listen to Neil Irwin's response. I got it marked, so I'll definitely play it a couple of times.
And with the core and main system that we already have in the ground, which is all of them, we're not able to, unless we want to change and go back with the other company, which is going to be astronomical compared to this one.
I was simply asking.
And we just want to know if we're following the bid law. That's it.
Mr. Neal, are we following the bid law?
Now, heard Ms. Carr say, Mr. Neal, are we following the bid law? She's literally asking the town attorney, are we following the bid law? Listen carefully, people. This is going to make an excellent TikTok video.
I haven't reviewed this.
I haven't even reviewed this.
Wait a minute. What?
All right. Let me play that little deal again. Listen again.
And with the core and main system that we already have in the ground, which is all of them, we're not able to, unless we want to change and go back with the other company, which is going to be astronomical compared to this one.
I was simply asking a question.
And we just want to know if we're following the bid law. That's it.
Mr. Neal, are we following the bid law?
Here we go.
I haven't reviewed this.
I haven't reviewed this. Mr. Neal, are we following the bid law? I haven't reviewed this.
He didn't know the answer and he just said something. I mean, that's got to be what just happened right there. I mean, that's the only explanation.
Except apparently none of the other council persons, Tiffany, you can let us know in the comments if I'm right or wrong. I don't think it was just Tiffany and Miss Carr. I don't think any of the rest of them had a copy of this either. Like, no chance to review this. It was literally a Pelosi, you got to vote on it to see what's in it moment.
Somebody has to go up there and I don't know. I mean, at this point, Charles Jacobs, Richard Ray, they need help.
Yeah.
Y'all need to go up there and volunteer. I mean,
all right. So I want to get through a little bit more of this. I'm not going to drag it on all night because we're only a third of the way into it. But listen to this commentary. Here we go. This exchange.
Here's we don't want to have it. We just
Well,
want to make
here's the
sure.
dilemma, because we've had a workshop for this. And we've had open meetings for this already. And now you're coming up here and then you want to ask all these questions.
Did you hear what he just said?
now you're coming up here and want to ask all these questions.
I would have said, you're damn right I do.
I'm sorry to inconvenience you with wanting to ask a question. I mean, that's the point of us meeting.
Right. All right, here we go.
Because we can't.
Yes, you can, but you should have done them at the other meetings when we had, we had the,
And
Mickey guy was here.
I believe we discussed water rate increase. I didn't really see coin mic, but we're just simply asking a question.
Yes, ma'am.
It was asking that.
I would have said, with all due respect, Mayor, I'm elected just like you are, and if you don't like this, we're going to start passing some resolutions and ordinances to get control of these meetings and this information flow. How do you like that? That's the question.
Wow.
This is crazy. Okay. So
how much more of this you got? I don't know if I can take much more.
Just a little bit. It's a little entertaining. We'll go about 10 or 15 more minutes.
I feel like I'm getting dumber as we go along.
Yeah. All right. Now, Stephanie Collier's in the comments. She says, careful, why throw out such a nasty comment? That's just putting nonsense drama out there. Look, Stephanie, I fully agree. All of this that Friday is doing is nonsense drama. There's zero reason for this kind of drama and for the mayor to do that at a town council meeting. There's zero drama. He should have not had his Pelosi moment at that meeting. So I agree with you 100%, Stephanie. There needs to be no drama. Y'all need to get in there, and the mayor needs to take care of business and handle it in a respectful, professional, governmental, town council manner.
I mean, you don't do business on stuff that hasn't been put out in the public for consumption.
Right.
You just don't do that. I mean, that reeks of a lack of transparency, and it wouldn't matter who it was that you have a meeting and we're going to vote on something and nobody has read prior to the meeting what we're going to vote on. I mean, that's one of the most egregious things. I mean, that you're saying, Nancy Pelosi, we got to pass it to figure out what's in it. I mean, that's going to go down in history of one of the biggest political, comedy statements or follies in political history. And it's absolutely what's happening in Benton right here, right now.
Bingo. Couldn't have said it better myself. I hope that albatross gets a little heavy there, Mr. Friday, but it gets even better. So listen up right here.
For further ado, let's either have a roll call vote to accept the proposal for the resolution.
What about your public comment, Mayor? You
Oh,
said that once.
wait, did somebody say public comment?
Public comment? What is public comment?
I'm not fast forwarded over the public comment. We're 20 minutes into the 22 minutes into the meeting. There's been no public comment.
I thought this was a monarchy. I mean,
Oh, but Friday
when did,
even argues this point.
when did the public get a say in anything? Oh, that's
Yeah.
right, at the election.
Let them eat cake. Okay, here we go.
You've missed public comment 3 times.
I have not missed it 3 times.
Yes, sir, you have.
Now,
You didn't allow public.
I'll give him a little credit here. At least Friday does let people speak once he realizes, oh, wait, maybe I have missed public comment. Here we go.
Comment on the agenda.
I did say public comments, and then they started talking, and so if you want to talk, if you go walk up here and you want to sign, you folks go ahead and do so.
All right, by God, how big a boy are you? Come on up here and do it. Now, notice he blames not himself. He's presiding over the meeting. He blames it over on Tiffany and Miss Carr because they were asking questions. Y'all don't ask questions. Y'all just sign the stuff and vote yes. I mean, I was sitting there like my blood was starting to boil. I'm trying to just run the camera and video the meeting and whatever.
I mean, look, and this is why this thing happens, and this is a good example. And it's not. I mean, I haven't never heard anything negative about Mr. Friday, and I think he's probably a good guy. I really do. But you know, these smaller government towns and these kind of things are an example of, while sometimes you may be the most popular person in town and you can get elected to this position, it doesn't mean that you have the tools to do the job. And in this case, presiding over a meeting, I don't know if Mr. Friday has presided over a meeting before and ran it, but he's obviously struggling. And
He
I think
needs to do his homework.
he needs to study a little bit, because with all due respect, there's things falling through the crack. He's making some mistakes, and he's not getting no help. He should be getting help from that attorney sitting there. And that's the one thing. You're paying him. He should be helping you, and he's not doing his job.
No, he's sitting there probably checking his phone or checking Facebook. I don't know.
Yeah. So
all right.
It's understandable for a small town like this to have somebody that's not well versed in presiding over a meeting. That's not unusual.
Except he has sat in for 16 years of meetings. You would think some of it would have rubbed off. But I agree with you. Maybe he didn't pay attention.
I'm going to throw him a little bone, and Rex, when you're the guy in the seat,
in the hot seat, it's different.
It's a little different. I mean, the pressure is all on you. Granted, this is just the town of Benton council meeting.
Well, look, people have differing opinions and things may go off on a tangent. You're right. When you're in the hot seat, it is a different deal. But this is just basic core stuff. This isn't like any, super gotcha moments or anything. It's just not. All right. So let's get through another couple of minutes and we'll start wrapping up the show, because this is crazy.
I mean, you don't live in the town, but you do.
I made that too. Several.
Did you hear it? Well, you don't live in town.
What does that have to do with anything?
It doesn't in a public meeting. He could have been from New York City.
Why would he say that? I mean, what?
Don't make me answer that. I'm trying to be nice.
Wait a minute.
As nice as I can be. Don't make me answer that.
Wait a minute. So does he have Juliana or some of those people from Bossier? I mean, it's confirmed. Some of those people are coaching him.
What other guy do I know that's virtually close to me right now that has had to surround or introduce his commentary with, I don't live in the town of Bossier City? I wonder what little guy that could be. Wears a hat. He's bald if he doesn't have the hat on.
I mean, good grief.
Oh, I started to get up there after this guy and reading the riot act. I was trying to keep my cool. Listen, these are great comments, so we're almost done.
Every time I come up here, man,
Yes.
and I'm trying to help you, whether you realize that or not. The questions they are asking are valid questions. You cannot expect this council or this public body to hear agenda or a proposal that you're just now presenting to these people. You don't have to answer my questions, and I recommend that you don't say anything, sir. I apologize, but please, you're digging yourself a hole far greater than you're going to get yourself out of. Your attorney, your town attorney sitting there just said he's not even reviewed the proposal. And the two councilmen that made a motion and seconded it, I highly suggest you retract that. Or at least, and someone make a motion to table this to give your council people time to review it, to give your town attorney time to review it, sir. And I'd like to go back and have the privilege of discussing the agenda and the minutes that have already been passed over and approved prior to you allowing us to speak on that.
And newsflash, those are two open meetings violations right now that could be reported to the AG's office.
Well, either the mayor who is presiding over the meetings is going to acknowledge that he's making mistakes, or he's going to deny or refuse that he's making mistakes and continue down the path that he's going and continue to do the same things. That forces, if he makes no change, that forces other people to, try to, I mean, you can't even get down in the weeds on whether the water bill is high or not. You can't even get to that question. You've got to get back to the question about having a meeting that is done correctly. The dotting the I's and crossing the T. You can't even get to debate the issues because you're not even conducting a meeting correctly.
Yeah, and this is not the only one. The last meeting, as we all saw, was basically the same. All right, about 2 more minutes, and we'll start wrapping up. So here we go. I couldn't stand it. All right, listen up.
All right. So we will ask for a tabling of the core main resolution, which
all right.
we'll find out this other information from, but we'll see what we can do. So
now, procedurally, you may not have been following along, Duke. What's the problem here? What is still on the floor?
Well, they had a motion on the floor.
Yep.
They had public comment, and it's open for debate now at this point. So he just as a presiding officer, he just asked for and I mean, it's normal to ask. He would entertain a motion to table, and that's a prompt. That's a signal. That was a good thing on his part, in my opinion, on this subject. He asked for somebody to make a motion to table. He did good. And
right,
I don't know whether anybody does or doesn't in this case, but somebody should have took him up on it.
Well, here we go.
So we will ask for a tabling of the core main resolution, which we'll find out this other information from, but we'll see what we can do. So I need a motion to table it in a second.
All due respect, your mayor, you already have a motion and a second. to approve it.
That was to approve it. Now they don't want to do it, they want to table it.
Do you know what Robert's Rules of Order are? And have y'all elected to follow that? Because you're not at all. That's what he's stating, and he is correct. You have a motion and you have a
hold
second
up.
on the floor. You either need to
Hold up.
vote to
No,
amend.
it's correct because I've already looked it up.
So what you're saying is that if if he entertains a motion to table the original motion and second, that's out of order?
Yes, he has to deal with the first motion first. I've already looked it up and I can post it. But he's got to deal with that, or as you'll see, Neil finally actually does something and advises him.
In that motion, or it needs to be withdrawn, then you can move forward.
I'd like to speak.
All right, now he's going to do a little attorney conference.
I'm going to say that I'm pretty confident that that's not correct. A motion to table is, the controlling motion after an original motion. It's a subsidiary motion. That's the way I would rule.
I don't think so. But, well, all right, so here's the thing. They've not, as far as we can see, formally adopted Robert's Rules of Order as a general guideline. So technically, he could have just said, well, no, we don't follow Robert's Rules of Order, so here's how we're going to do it.
Pull up AI and ask AI.
All right.
Let's see.
How about we pull up Robert's Rules of Order?
Well, that's fine. We can do that too. Which is a higher. Anyway, that's fine too. If you got it, I want to see what you got. But so you're saying that they're not governed by Robert's Rules of Order?
No. Well, let me say I looked up in their code of ordinances, but I don't have access to or have not found all of their resolutions or any ordinances that they've done in the past. So I've only done a brief look, but I don't see anywhere where they have agreed to do that. Now, they like the city of Bossier does it every couple of years, as we showed with Jacobs being dead wrong about that. Maybe they have adopted Robert's Rules of Order as their general guidelines in the past. I didn't find any. They're obviously not aware of it. So let's see what Neil says first, though.
I think you need to ask, but would the council prefer to postpone this rather than go on? And if they would prefer to postpone it, then we'll have a motion, a substitute motion to postpone it until the next meeting.
I couldn't hear what he said. If he said substitute motion,
Yes, which is correct.
what did he say?
That you have to, that one method to do it would be to have somebody offer a substitute motion. Let me get back because I'm pulling up Acrobat now. Hold on. Would be for somebody to offer a substitute motion that would supersede the original motion, which is actually what they do. So hold on. And Erwin is correct about that.
Well, you can do that. I mean, you can amend the original motion, and
Correct.
you can go that route, but you can motion to table the whole thing. And I just asked Groke, and I shared my screen. I don't know if it'll come up, if you can pull that up or not, but I said, is a motion to table inferior to an original motion? And it says, in parliamentary procedure, a motion to table or lay on the table in some context is generally considered a subsidiary motion, which means it takes precedence over the original main motion it seeks to effect. So I am right on tabling. That is a motion that you can make to the original motion after the fact, if you so choose to stop the process, to just set it aside. You're not taking an action one way or the other, but basically just pause it. I mean,
Correct. I'll concede that for now, but I'll post the Robert's Rules later on.
Okay.
All right, here we go. So, because again, I don't know if they've, and as I said there, I don't know if they've ever adopted Robert's Rules of Order or not. All right, here we go.
Yeah, maybe irrelevant.
Here's what, under the advisement of our attorney, is that, we have a motion and a second, but we can have a substitute motion to, vote on it as is, or substitute voting to where we can table it to the next meeting.
I'll make a motion that we, a substitute motion that we table.
Substitute motion to table, which is the correct way to do it procedurally, I'm telling you.
Well, it's the same thing. I mean, he's saying a substitute motion to table. That's a motion to table.
Right.
Okay.
You can't have the two motions on the floor, but you can have, according to Robert's rules, a substitute motion. I mean, it's getting into the minutia of it, but that's the correct procedure.
I got to ask you: does a tree make a noise when it falls in the woods and nobody's around to hear it?
Well, it depends on who's listening and who's not.
I gotta know. I gotta know.
All right. I'll let Mr. Mark have his little spill for a second, and then we'll end it.
Correct. Okay.
Thank you.
All right, we have a motion and a second.
They did get the substitute motion.
Right,
They did get the second.
You vote on that.
And I'll save us. Guess what they voted? Unanimously.
Oh, brother.
All right, but I got to get this one little comment. Hold on. I think I've got it marked here. Listen to Friday. He says public comment again. Listen.
All right, we have a motion and a second. All right, so
You vote on that
then we'll have a roll call vote, please.
after public comments.
We're gonna do public comment again.
Yes, sir.
You mean we got to have public comment again?
Golly.
All right, listen to Crouch. Here we go.
All right, public comments?
Mr. Mayor, I agree with Mr. Bridges.
Is that all you got to say there?
Is that all you got to say? If Friday would just learn to not open his mouth and change his foot, this stuff would go a lot better. He should have just let Crouch say his piece. Give him, you got 3 minutes, whatever the time limit needs to be, and just shut up.
Wow. I look, nobody that has went to Bossier, and please don't go to Benton and take advantage of this situation. They need to get this worked out. And
Yeah.
I could so go up there and get thrown in jail and then win a court case at the snap of a finger so fast and take advantage of the situation. But nobody needs to do anything like that. Just, but they got problems up there. And,
Well, and look, the purpose of me going up there to video this, because, other than my little quip there, only because I was just getting frustrated, I just sat there and videoed it. We've done our commentary on it, but I posted the whole video on Bossier Watch. Chris Redford he was video live streaming again. I think he was live streaming. He may have videoed and posted it after. Chris Redford has a copy, so there's nothing edited. I did edit out the Pledge of Allegiance and prayer at the beginning. But there's nothing edited out of the actual meeting substance. I don't think Chris did either. And so you can go and see this for yourself. I just want them to run their meetings a little better and get a little smoother.
I mean, look, this is simple stuff.
Yeah.
You give everybody, elected officials, the public, notice that you're going to have a meeting. You give people proper notice of what's going to be discussed at that meeting ahead of time, not at the start of the meeting, ahead of time. And then when you have the meeting, you give everybody that is elected the opportunity to participate in the meeting, make motions, you deal with those motions, and you give them the opportunity to speak to the issues being discussed. You give the public the opportunity to speak to the issues being discussed, and then you decide the issues that are being discussed, and end of story. It's that simple. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
And even if somebody you don't like is standing up there blasting you, it's best just not to even engage them. Just let them have their say, just what you were saying, and don't
Yeah.
antagonize. Just
Yeah. They're not required to answer the questions. The alderman nor the mayor are required legally to answer anybody. It's called public comment period. Look, a good example is when Cody McKellar got up at one of the recent Bossier City Council meetings and read them the riot act. And what did the city council do? They just sat there and listened.
that's exactly right. I would make a recommendation that, and I got to tell you, from the lack of engagement from Mr. Irwin, and Mr. Irwin may be a fine man. I don't know him, but I would recommend that the mayor turn over the duties of conducting the meeting to the attorney there. Have him,
Actually do
conduct
something.
have him conduct the meeting. You
Yeah.
know, just I mean, we saw it in plain dealing.
Right. Yeah.
They had their city attorney conduct the meeting. One of the meetings that we went up there to, I think that would be advisable in Benton.
Yeah. I agree. And so, I'm probably going to go up there to next month's meeting just for the heck of it, use the camera and all that again. And look, I mean this sincerely. Any of the aldermen are welcome to come on the show. Mr. Friday is welcome to come on the show. We'll give him the platform, give him the mic. We're going to have some questions just like any other guests that we have on. But, folks, y'all know you can go back and watch any of the show where Duke and I have had guests on. We don't berate the guests or anything like that. We try not to talk over them. We pretty much give the guests the mic. We will ask some pointed questions, maybe, depending on the subject matter. But they're all welcome. Stephanie, like I told you, you're watching the show, you're welcome to come on. I would suggest you get approval from the mayor because, well, they sign your paychecks up there. But you're welcome to come on. You and Mr. Friday are welcome to come on. Miss Carr is welcome to come on. Miss Manning is welcome to come on. Forgive me for not knowing the other two ladies' names. Mr. Lawrence, heck, Neil Irwin's welcome to come on. And they can do some splaining.
Yep. Well, anyway.
All right. That's it for tonight. I've drug on Benton's town council meeting as long as I can drag it out and stand it for tonight.
Viva Bossier!
We've done bullying, we've done mystery guests not showing, and now, yes, Viva Bossier. Good ending there, Mr. Lowry. We're out of here.
I motion to table this show.
I second that motion, and we both vote for it. How about that?